All right, guys, this is your third essay assignment. This will be the essay over the postmodern unit. And there are a lot of different things we learned about in this unit. So this took us from post-World War II up to where we are now, and it's things like identity, multiculturalism, post-war trauma, modern consumer culture, etc. So you're going to choose one author and text read in this unit and write an argumentative essay and a literary analysis essay looking at how that work portrays a thematic issue related to the postmodern movement. So you could do it to one theme, you could do it to a couple themes if you like. I wouldn't do more than maybe two, just to keep it nice and focused and narrow. But you could think, like I said, things like identity, multiculturalism, trauma, outsider identity, modern gender dynamics, social class or racial divide, etc. There's a lot of different things you could look at, and that's why I kind of suggest you keep it to really one or two at max. You should focus your analysis again, as always, on analyzing the text through different literary devices, looking at the different structures, the tone, whatever it might be. Given, of course, that like the other two essays, that these texts speak to different issues relevant to the authors, you should also tie in the biographical or historical context secondarily. But as I've said, the most important thing is to keep the focus on the text. It should be a literary analysis essay, not a history essay or a biography essay. So this is where things get a little bit different in this unit than the other two. You actually have three options for how you can do this essay. So the first way to do this is like a usual 3 to 4 page essay with a bibliography. So that's your typical, exactly what you've done in the first two units. This one, like I said, is 3 to 4 pages, so bottom of the third page at minimum. You can always write more, you can't write less, and include a bibliography. The second option is if you are more comfortable as someone who is, say, speaking, you could do a 10-minute video lecture. So just like I do on those lectures where you talk about the text and you talk about the historical context and everything else, you could do that as a 10-minute video lecture, which you would upload to YouTube, and then you would basically just give me the link, the public link to view. And then you could include a bibliography as just a separate document. And then the other option is a 12 to 15 slide PowerPoint with same thing, a bibliography as well. So this is really more for people who like to enhance their presentations with things like images or I don't know, graphs or whatever it might be. It's really important, though, that you understand that no matter which one you do, it should have relatively the same amount of content. So what I don't want to see is a slide with 2 bullets on it that just says conflict resolution or something like that. I do expect to still see a good solid paragraph of information on a slide. I expect you to really explore whatever it is that you're talking about in depth. And I still expect, even in, say, like a video lecture, I expect you to pull in quotes. I expect you to have it organized so that it's, it's still a very clear and argumentative flow. You should still have a thesis claim. You should still have evidence from the text that you pull in as direct quotes. So it will have all the same elements. It's just different formatting and different ways that really suit you as a presenter or as someone who suits your personality. Maybe if you are someone who enjoys speaking versus writing, I would say go for the video lecture. If you're someone who likes to be a little more creative, visually, do the PowerPoint. If you are comfortable with the written format as it is, do the essay. So that's the goal, so that you guys kind of express yourself and your ideas in a way that makes you really the most comfortable. You are required to have at least 2 sources. So again, these need to be credible sources like .edu or pbs.com or something like that. Again, GradeSaver and 123helpme.com, those kinds of websites are not the right kinds of websites you should be using. You need to have whatever the minimum length is, and this is due by Sunday, May 8th at 11:59 p.m. So everything will be checked for plagiarism that is written. So I will say PowerPoints still get checked for plagiarism just like the essays. And then make sure that you have the required link, like I said. And then MLA formatting for anything that is written or citations, things like that. You have a number of authors that you guys can choose from in this case. And so again, I want you guys to choose the author and the work that is of most interest to you, and talk about, whichever thematic issue is of most interest to you relative to that work and that author. Make sure you're analyzing this in depth using your knowledge of the historical and biographical context secondarily, to kind of contextualize the works and the authors. And again, make sure you're incorporating solid, concrete evidence in the form of direct quotes. And then the credible source material should be incorporated as direct quotes as well to help support your ideas. Um, you're going to be assessed on making sure you have a good thesis claim and an introduction, no matter which format you choose to do. Close analysis of the works and its major concepts, solid evidence, like I said, in the form of direct quotes from your primary and your secondary sources, your proper length, whatever that is, MLA formatting, proper number of citations, sources, sources, I should say, and citations. And then a fully developed essay structure, again, no matter which format you're doing, should still have an introduction with a thesis claim, clear main ideas with evidence to support and analysis around that, and a conclusion which wraps up your argument, restates your thesis and your main ideas in new words. And then that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions about this, let me know. Just a couple things on the submission portion. This is right before finals week, and grades are due very quickly in finals week. So there is no wiggle room here for extensions. This must be submitted by the deadline no matter what it is. If it's the essay, you know how to submit that. Make sure that you submit something successfully. Make sure it renders on screen. You can resubmit as many times as is needed, of course, until the deadline. If you do the video lecture and you upload it to YouTube and you put the link to the YouTube in the essay submission, then you need to make sure that A, it works, and B, that it is set to public. Because if I can't view it for any reason, then I have nothing to grade. So there's no wiggle room or time to turn around and try and email you to get something else. So just make sure that that is successfully open to the public and successfully working when you submit it. And the same thing on the PowerPoint, you should be able to see it render on screen. So if you're not seeing it, then I'm not seeing it. And you can resubmit it as many times as is needed up until the deadline. So that's pretty much it. Again, I want you guys to do whatever you enjoy in terms of sort of expression of how you like to kind of convey knowledge. And if you have questions or you want to run ideas by me, you're more than welcome to. And please let me know if you have any questions about this at all. Thanks.